Part 155. Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 1541. There happens to be a window where Su Tianqian and I are, and we can clearly see under the tree through the window. The female ghost with braids under the tree was looking at me hard. Her skin was pale and her face was ashen, and her eyes when she looked at me were full of cold resentment. Obviously, this female ghost is targeting me. If I don't get rid of her, she will definitely try her best to kill me. According to common sense, I don't know this braided woman, so she has no reason to trouble me. However, some fierce ghosts are like this. They are very resentful and kill everyone they see, causing trouble for everyone. I plan to strike first. I used Nine Eyes' heavenly domain and was about to move away when I saw the female ghost disappear, and I lost my target. I sighed secretly in my heart. As long as this female ghost didn't appear, I wouldn't be able to find her, because I didn't have the female ghost's horoscope and couldn't use any means to find her. What happened on the train was not accidental, but inevitable. It must have been the work of the gods hiding in the dark. Su Tianqian and I returned to the carriage. The outside of the train was busy. About an hour later, several police cars arrived, and then several police officers got on the train to visit and investigate and monitor. Su Tianqian and I were also called in for questioning because we were too close to the braided female ghost. I told the truth and didn't hide anything. Of course, I couldn't tell them about the braided woman who turned into a ghost, because this thing was so shocking that ordinary people couldn't believe it or accept it. Maybe I would still locked up as mentally ill. After struggling for a long time, the train finally moved forward. Su Tianqian and I were sitting in the carriage. Su Tianqian said to me, "Xiao Su, it seems that we have to stay in a nearby city for one night. If we want to go to Tishan, we have to go deep into the mountain. We will rest in the city for one night, and the next day we will go to a village at the foot of Tishan mountain, and then we will figure out how to get into the mountain." Su Tianqian has been to Tishan before, so she knows the way to Tishan very well. I can only follow her arrangements. At this time, I suddenly remembered something and said to Su Tianqian, "Tianqian, you said that we didn't prepare a gift for the old Tishan fox's birthday. Doesn't it seem a little inappropriate?" Su Tianqian and I went to Tishan not to look for trouble, but to discuss whether we could return Sudaji's 3 tails. More importantly, I also wanted to arrange a marriage for Qin Fenglin's unborn grandson. Normally, that would be fine. It would be inappropriate for the old fox Tishan to leave empty-handed on his birthday. After all, people still pay attention to the courtesy between people. When you ask others to do things, your attitude should naturally be more humble. But that doesn't mean I can tolerate anything. Courtesy first, then attack. If Tishan can give Sudaji's 3 tails to me, then I won't cause trouble. If not, then I can only steal them. Su Tianqian heard what I said and replied, "I have already thought of what you are talking about. When we get to that village, we will naturally get birthday gifts." I was slightly stunned and smiled awkwardly. Su Tianqian was really thoughtful and even prepared birthday gifts. Due to unexpected events, the train was delayed, and the passengers on the car sighed and were upset. At 8 o'clock in the evening, we finally arrived at Zuo Station. Zuo Station was dilapidated, and the architectural style remained the same as it was 50 or 60 years ago. Su Tianqian and I did not stay in the car, but got off the train. Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 1542. After getting off the train, a gust of cold wind blew by, and I shivered subconsciously. Su Tianqian next to me also shivered, so I took off my coat and put it on Su Tianqian. "Xiao Su, I'm fine, just don't catch a cold." With that, Su Tianqian was about to take off his coat, and I quickly stopped him. "Tianqian, I am not as fragile as you think as a man." Seeing my persistence, Su Tianqian didn't say anything. The train will stop at Zhuo station for half an hour. I found that there are many people coming off the station, almost 2/3 of the entire train passengers. Su Tianqian and I were sitting on the bench. Su Tianqian looked around and said to me, "Xiao Su, the yin energy here is so strong." I nodded. I discovered this when I first got off the station. Moreover, there were clearly many lights in the entire station, but the light emitted was very weak, as if it was swallowed by darkness. Su Tianqian and I sat on the bench for a long time and didn't notice anything unusual. Just when I wanted to stand up and move around, I felt a sense of being spied on from behind me. This feeling made me feel like a thorn on my back, with chills standing on end. I turned around suddenly and saw a figure standing under the street light not far away. The dim street light shone on the person. She was slender and had black braids. Her skin was as pale as paper, and her eyes were sinister and malicious. She just stood there without saying a word. What Su Tianqian said is indeed true, the braided female ghost is indeed haunting us. I stared hard at the braided female ghost. She and I were extremely far away, and it was impossible for me to reach her in an instant even by using the Nine Eyes Heaven realm. I pretended not to see it at all, because this braided female ghost is haunting me. Even if I don't look for her, she will look for me, and maybe she will attack me later. Thinking of this, I didn't pay too much attention to the female ghost. All I could think about was the legend about Zhuo Station. The internet said that a monster with a pig face and a human body would appear in the station, but it has been so long now, and nothing else has been seen except this braided female ghost. It would also be a good thing for me if those rumors online were false because we could reach Tishan safely. However, after thinking about it, Zhao Mian told me that the gods had already begun to take action. I thought that they would not miss such a good opportunity. Just when I lowered my head to think, Su Tianqian suddenly stood up. I was slightly startled. Just as I was about to raise my head to ask, I saw Su Tianqian rushing in one direction. I looked in the direction Su Tianqian was running and saw only one person standing in that direction. The man was bloated and short, and his head was 2 or 3 times larger than that of an ordinary person. It's that monster with a pig face and a human body. I quickly stood up and followed Su Tianqian. Su Tianqian is extremely fast. I would never have been able to keep up with her before, but it is different now. I can easily follow her. At this time, when the monster saw that Su Tianqian and I were doing something, he turned around and ran away. My face hardened, I grabbed Su Tianxian's hand and used Nine Eyes Heavenly Domain to disappear instantly. When Su Tianqian and I reappeared, we were already directly in front of the pig-faced man. I stretched out my right hand and shook it, and Jingxiao was held in my hand. I suddenly raised my sword and pointed it at the pig demon, and said coldly, "Let me see where you are going to run." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 1543. Just now I was far away and I couldn't see the specific appearance of this monster. Now that I'm up close, I can only describe it as terrifying. This guy has a pig's head and a human body that seems to have been pieced together. Moreover, he has a fat head, big ears, and a rattle on his mouth. When the pig demon saw Jingxiao in my hand, he instinctively felt fear and retreated subconsciously. I raised my sword and slashed at the pig demon, but when the pig demon saw my move, it turned around and ran away like crazy. My sword failed immediately. Seeing this, Su Tianqian stepped forward and quickly changed spells with his green-white fingers. He muttered words in his mouth. After finishing preparations for casting the spell, Su Tianqian pinched his sword finger and pointed it in the direction of the pig demon's escape and shouted sharply, "Bundle!" As soon as he finished speaking, Countless spells emitting white light appeared between Su Tianqian. This white light gives people a very holy and clean feeling, like the dawn in the darkness and the warm sun in winter. Countless spells emitting white light floated towards the pig demon. In just the blink of an eye, the pig demon was imprisoned by the spell and unable to move. Su Tianqian and I walked towards the pig demon. The pig demon bared his teeth at me and Su Tianqian. I looked at the pig demon coldly. Without any hesitation, I raised Jingxiao in my hand and squeezed the secret with one hand. The next moment, blue lightning instantly wrapped around Jingxiao's sword. I swung the sword without any hesitation. Jingxiao drew a perfect arc in the air and directly cut off the pig demon's head. I couldn't ask anything out of this pig demon's mouth because he couldn't speak. This pig demon is the root cause of the haunting at Zawo Station. If I kill him, nothing strange will happen at Zawo Station anymore. I looked at the time and saw that there were still 15 minutes before the train started. Now that the pig demon had been dealt with, it was time to get back on the train and wait for the train to move forward. Su Tianqian and I walked side by side towards the train. As I walked, I noticed something was wrong, because Su Tianqian and I walked at least 10 meters away, but our position from the train never changed. I was slightly startled. Are you trying to hit the wall? This little trick does nothing for me. I squeezed my right hand and shouted loudly, and then there was the sound of something breaking in the air, but what happened next made my brows knit together in an instant. The surrounding black fog filled the air, drowning me and Su Tianqian like a tide. My sight was instantly blocked, and the visibility was less than 3 meters. Ghostland. I whispered in a low voice, why is there a ghost realm here? The formation of the ghost realm has been explained before. It is a condensed thing of breath. This is a paradise for ghosts and monsters. Once a living person enters, he will not be able to escape and can only wait to die. We had encountered a ghost domain before when we were on Penglay Island. We had narrow escapes at that time, but now we have encountered it again. It's just that this time, the ghostly black mist does no harm to the human body. At this moment, I felt as if someone had tapped me on the shoulder. I turned my head in confusion and asked, Tianqian, if you have anything to say, why are you tapping me? Su Tianqian was slightly startled and said, I didn't take a picture of you. Didn't you take a picture of me? I felt a chill in my heart and looked behind me sharply. Immediately afterwards, a woman's face that was extremely pale and without any blood came into my eyes. It was the female ghost with braids. I reacted quickly, picked up the 9 layers of Thunder Dew with my right hand and hit the braided female ghost fiercely. Boom! There were bursts of thunder and flashes of light, and the female ghost was directly blown away by me. Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 1544. After the braided female ghost was blown away by me, she quickly disappeared in the confusing realm. I frowned. This braided female ghost really ran away when she showed up. The most annoying thing was that I couldn't catch her. Su Tianqian and I dare not act rashly in a confusing place. Even though Su Tianqian and I are both powerful now, it is better to be careful due to the unpredictable changes in the mysterious domain. At this time, dull footsteps suddenly came from the black mist. I looked in the direction where the footsteps came from. I saw black mist surging in that direction, and it seemed like someone was approaching. Tap tap tap. The sound of footsteps came from far away, and the black mist was spreading around. Su Tianqian looked ahead solemnly and whispered, could it be him? I looked at Su Tianqian and asked doubtfully, he? Who is it? Su Tianqian slowly uttered a sentence. The son of Emperor Jun, Yan Long. Yan Long. I was shocked. I never expected that the first god to appear would be Yan Long. But if you think about it carefully, Yan Long's appearance is normal. After all, he and Su Tianqian are engaged. As soon as Su Tianqian finished speaking, a man's voice came from the darkness. My dear wife, I never imagined that you still remember me, your husband. This sentence has confirmed that the person in the black mist is Yan Long. This damn thing is still dreaming of his spring and autumn dream. Still talking about his fiancée. A figure slowly appeared in the black fog and walked towards us. When the figure approached me, I raised a sneer at the corner of my mouth. Yan Long was wearing a black robe and stood directly in front of me and Su Tianxian. He and Pen Glaziandeo had not changed at that time, and there was still an arrogant look on his eyebrows. I looked at Yan Long coldly and said, "Isn't this that long insect? Why, you dare to come again after being defeated by me last time?" Yan Long had a faint smile on his face. He was not annoyed when he heard my words. He just said to me, "Lu Su, I haven't seen you for such a long time. You are still such an ant that I hate." Yan Long's eyes were on Su Tianxian, and suddenly his face showed tenderness, and he said, "I haven't seen Tianxian for a long time." Before he finished speaking, he seemed to have noticed something, and his expression gradually turned cold. "Are you married to Lu Su?" Su Tianxian looked at Yan Long indifferently, not paying attention to him at all, and didn't bother to talk to him. Such an indifferent attitude made Yan Long furious. He shouted at Su Tianxian, "You are my fiancé and you dare to marry a mortal, an ant. Is he worthy?" Su Tianxian could not tolerate others saying anything wrong about me. She looked at Yan Long coldly and said, "Does it have anything to do with you?" Yan Long clenched his fists, looked at me with gritted teeth, and said, "Lu Su, according to our plan, you still have a few days to survive, but if you dare to marry Tianxian, then you can't blame me." As soon as Yan Long finished speaking, he disappeared from the spot. I looked stern, turned around with Jingxiao in hand, and took advantage of the situation to block. Just hearing a clang, Yan Long's fist hit Jingxiao hard. Yan Long looked shocked. Before he could react, I swung my sword. There was a clanging sound in the air again, and I slashed Yan Long's chest with the sword. However, the sword did not cause any damage to him and only scratched his clothes. Under his clothes were dense black dragon scales. "Lu Su, I didn't expect you to grow up so fast." Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 1545. Needless to say, the Yan Long in front of him is not his true body, but his clone. Yan Long from Penglai Immortal Island is also a clone. But that time, I was very weak and he pushed me to the ground and rubbed me. If I hadn't cooperated with Zhao Mian, I wouldn't have been able to injure him and repel him. If it hadn't been for Zhao Mian that time, Su Tianxian would really have left me, everything would have changed, and I wouldn't have received the certificate with Su Tianxian, let alone the story that followed. How do you say something? 30 years in Hedong and 30 years in Hexi. Don't bully young people into poverty. After the brief battle with Yan Long just now, I found that my strength is comparable to his. After the Underworld War, my cultivation has indeed improved a lot. There are many reasons why this is the case. Mount Tai is enshrined in Zen, the evil star returns to the palace, the memory awakens, and, Miao Fengluan's heart. I looked at Yan Long coldly, slowly raised the sword in my hand and pointed it at Yan Long, and said, "I let you get away last time, but this time, I will definitely kill you." Yan Long sneered, the aura around him surged, and the surrounding black mist dispersed due to this aura. The next second, Yan Long disappeared directly from the spot. I looked calm and paid attention to what was going on around me. At this time, I felt a surge of air on my left side. I sneered and turned around suddenly to hold Jingxiao in front of me. I heard a sonorous sound and Yan Long's dragon claws had already grabbed Jingxiao hard. His strength was so strong that I kept retreating. "Lu Su, I didn't expect you to be able to detect me." Yan Long shouted in surprise. I raised a sneer at the corner of my mouth, and with a thought, a crimson-like blood-like flame appeared out of thin air and instantly attached itself to Jingxiao. At first glance, Jingxiao looks like a flaming sword. I took a step back, relieved my strength, and then swung my sword at Yanlong again. Yanlong looked shocked and quickly took action to resist. Jingxiao hit Yanlong's arm hard. This blow, like the last time, did not cause much damage to him, but the fire of karma instantly spread all over his body along his sleeves. Yanlong's expression turned cold, and with a wave of his hand, all the fires of karma were extinguished. You must know that the fire of karma is the fire of hell and will not be extinguished easily, but now. The fire of karma burned Yanlong's clothes until they were in ruins. Under his clothes were hard black dragon scales. These dragon scales were worn by Yanlong like armor, and his hands had turned into dragon claws. Seeing this situation, I didn't dare to be negligent. With a thought, more than a dozen blank heavenly secrets emitting golden light shot out from between my eyebrows and surrounded me. I took a deep breath, and Jingxiao played a sword flower in my hand, and then, more than a dozen heavenly secrets flew towards Yanlong. I know it's not easy to kill Yanlong's clone, but I'm sure to seriously injure it. Then take advantage of his illness to kill him. Lu Su, you are so naive. I'm a god. How could these rubbish talismans harm me? Yanlong looked at me with a look full of teasing contempt. It was obvious that he didn't take me seriously from beginning to end. Yet, I unlocked the seals of the 5 spiritual veins in my body, and suddenly dragon energy burst out from my body. There are a total of 99 dragon veins in my body, plus Su Tianqian also passed on the remaining dragon energy in her body to me. Now I can unlock the seals of up to 8 spiritual veins. However, I don't plan to use all my strength to deal with Yanlong. My intuition tells me that Yanlong cannot be a person. Because the weird man I saw at the station hasn't shown up yet. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 1546. I must retain some strength so that I can deal with certain emergencies. It's true that ordinary talismans can't hurt you, but... I looked at Yanlong coldly, my words stopped, my tone became cold, and I continued, can you bear the 36 heavenly gang talismans? 36 Tian Gang Star Talisman Superior Talisman. It is the talisman recorded in Yuan Tiangong's memory. The 36 Tian Gang Star Talisman is a talisman drawn by the divine power of the 36 Tian Gang. Note that what is used here is not the power of the 36 heavenly generals, but the 36 heavenly gang stars. The 36 Tian Gang stars are Tian Kuixing, Tian Gang Star, Tianji Star, Tianxian Star, Tianyang Star. The 36 heavens will be divine positions, and each divine position corresponds to a star. There are 36 heavenly generals in Fengshenbang and Water Margin, but the heavenly generals in these two periods are not the same person. Yanlong's pupils trembled slightly and he said, you can actually mobilize the power of the stars. You didn't have such ability before. I sneered and said, it seems you haven't figured out my identity yet. Lu Su, the great Emperor Ziwei of Zhongtian North Pole. One of the 4 imperial guards. The Lord of 10,000 stars. Do you think I have mobilized the power of the stars? Emperor Ziwei's status in the heaven is very high, one person is lower than 10,000 people, second only to the Jade Emperor. Yanlong looked at me solemnly and said, it seems that our guess is good. You are no longer what you used to be. It seems that I have to get rid of you here. I was too lazy to talk nonsense with Yanlong, so I activated the 36 Tian Gang Star Talisman without any hesitation. In an instant, more than a dozen heavenly secrets emitted dazzling starlight. There are 36 Tian Gang Star Talismans in total. With my current strength, I can fully use them. The reason why I chose to use more than a dozen Tian Gang Star Talismans to deal with Yanlong is to see how strong he is. The starlight emitted by the Tiangang star talisman dispersed the black mist. Yan Long, who was located in the center of the talisman array, turned his face into a condensation. His aura surged, and a black mist burst out from his body. Is this dragon energy? Yan Long is a real dragon and it is normal for him to have dragon energy. But this dragon energy is very strange. It is not as pure and masculine as the dragon energy in my body. On the contrary, it has a kind of sinister feeling. Zhao Mian said before that the reason why the gods were sealed in the tomb of the gods was because of the evil thoughts in their bodies. Now it seems that the gods have been eaten away deeply by the evil thoughts in their hearts, and even this vast dragon energy has become so unbearable. The light of the Tiangang star talisman was like sharp swords stabbed into Yan Long's body. The scales on his body began to break, but they were only broken and did not cause much damage to him. This will never work. I took a deep breath. Since Yan Long uses dragon energy, I want to see how strong and weak the dragon energy in my body is compared to his. Thinking of this, I release the dragon energy in my body. Golden dragon energy filled the air, and finally transformed into 4 golden dragons. I raised the Jingxiao in my hand and pointed it at Yan Long. The next moment, 4 golden dragons shot through the sky towards Yan Long. Just when the 4 golden dragons were about to swallow Yan Long, a figure suddenly appeared. The man suddenly raised his hand and waved it down gently. The next moment, the 4 golden dragons immediately shattered. I was so shocked that just one blow dispelled my dragon energy. At this time, Su Tianqian stepped forward suddenly and protected me behind her. She said to me solemnly, "Xiao Su, please step back first. You are no match for this person." Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 1547. Not an opponent? I stared at that figure. He walked towards me slowly. A cold voice suddenly sounded. "Emperor, long time no see." "Emperor? Who is this person? Is it possible you know me?" A series of questions rose from the bottom of my heart. The man's figure slowly emerged from the darkness. I saw that the man was tall and mighty, with disheveled hair and bare feet, wearing a mysterious robe, gold armor and jade belt, holding a sword and glaring with anger. Moreover, the aura exuded from his whole body was very powerful, and he was not angry but powerful. I seemed to have seen this image somewhere. I began to search for relevant memories in my mind, and a name slowly reappeared from the bottom of my heart. This man just called me Emperor, and his tone of voice was very respectful. Moreover, there is a god who is just like the person in front of me, and that is Emperor Jinwu. Emperor Jinwu, also known as Xiantian God, Yuz Hung Zhenjun, Suanwu Emperor, etc., is the most widely believed deity among Chinese folk. Nowadays, Taoist temples enshrine Emperor Jinwu, who usually wears his hair and barefoot, sitting upright in the hall. Next to him are statues of turtles, snakes, golden boys, jade girls, and other attendant gods. Moreover, this Emperor Jinwu is also one of the 4 generals under Emperor Ziwei in Zhongtian Arctic. If the person in front of me is really Emperor Jinwu, that means, he is my subordinate. There are 4 generals under Emperor Ziwei of Zhongtian North Pole, namely Marshal Tianpeng Zhenjun, Deputy Marshal Tianyu Zhenjun also known as Tianyu Deputy Marshal, Yishan Bayat Zhenjun also known as Haisha General, Lingying Yuz Hung Zhenjun also known as General Jinwu. It's really unbelievable that the gods would send my former subordinates. Although I am Emperor Ziwei, the memory of Emperor Ziwei has not yet awakened. I looked at the man in front of me and asked, "Are you Jinwu?" The man nodded towards me, then knelt down on one knee, bowed to me and saluted, and said, "I pay my respects to the great Emperor Ziwei of the North Pole of Zhongtian." I was slightly stunned. What on earth is this Jinwu Emperor doing? What's the purpose of his presence here? If he wanted to kill me, why was he so respectful? Courtesy first and then soldiers. Are all gods so qualified? Yanlong came to the side of Emperor Jinwu and said, "Don't talk nonsense to him. You just happen to be here too. The two of us will work together to kill him. We are trying to find a way to subdue the remaining 3 evil spirits." Emperor Jinwu glanced at Yanlong lightly and said, "He can't die yet." "Why?" Emperor Jinwu said slowly, "Because this is our decision." "In that case." Yanlong focused his attention on Su Tianqian and said, "Then let's take her away. She can open the tomb of the gods anyway." Emperor Jinwu looked at Su Tianqian, was slightly startled, and said, "Okay." At this moment, I knew that this Jinwu emperor was completely on the opposite side of me. But if you think about it carefully, what I do is completely contrary to the gods. It's like a company. A group of people who work hard and get involved naturally cannot tolerate people who mess around and take advantage of others. Emperor Jinwu came to me and said, "Emperor, I have always respected you, but you and I have different ideas, so I can only stand on the opposite side of you. I will not kill you today, but I will take her away. As long as you turn around and leave now, Emperor, you will not be harmed in any way." I looked at Emperor Jinwu, sneered, and said, "Stop talking nonsense. If you want to take her away, you must get through me first." Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 1548. The last time Yanlong tried to take Su Tianqian away from me, he failed, and it's even more impossible now. Emperor Jinwu looked at me and said slowly, "Emperor, I didn't want to be your enemy, but if you insist on obstructing me, don't blame me." After saying that, Emperor Jinwu's aura surged, and a terrifying coercion spread toward me. Emperor Jinwu gave me a strong sense of oppression. I held Jingxiao in my hand and looked at Emperor Jinwu solemnly. Emperor Jinwu suddenly disappeared on the spot. His speed was many times faster than Yanlong. At this moment, Su Tianqian warned, "Xiao Su, watch your back." As soon as Su Tianqian finished speaking, I felt a very powerful breath coming from my back. I turned around suddenly and saw Emperor Jinwu raising the palm of his right hand, and the golden light from his palm struck towards my chest. I quickly circulated the dragon energy in my body to contend with it. My palms touched each other, and there was a loud sound. I was forced to retreat. Before I could stand still, Emperor Jinwu rushed forward again. As expected of being one of the 4 great generals under Emperor Ziwei, he is indeed powerful. With a thought, I suddenly took a step forward, and suddenly a yin and yang double dragon diagram appeared under my feet. The next second, 2 blue dragons, one black and one white, flew out of the double dragon picture and surrounded Emperor Jinwu. At this time, Yanlong also took the opportunity to attack, and he struck me in the back with his palm. I didn't have time to react, but at this critical moment, Su Tianxian's figure flashed and stood behind me. She pinched the magic formula with her right hand, then turned the seal into a palm and slapped it towards Yanlong. Yanlong was forced to retreat continuously by Su Tianxian's palm. Watching Emperor Jinwu grab the claws of the black and white dragons with his left and right hands, and with a little force, the 2 dragons were crushed apart by him. I had known for a long time that Emperor Jinwu was not so easy to deal with. However, I am not the Lu Su I used to be. I was just testing Emperor Jinwu's strength just now. He also descended to earth as a soul, and it was still possible to fight him even though he was not his real body. I picked up the 9-level thunder art and superimposed its power to the 9th level. There was a rumble, thunder in the airs, and thunder and lightning flashing in the sky, as if it could tear the night sky apart and penetrate the black fog. I raised my hand to Jingxiao, and my sword drew thunder from the sky. The sky thunder gathered and circled above my head. As my sword fell, the sky thunder turned into a thunder dragon and roared towards Emperor Jinwu. Emperor Jinwu looked up and saw the thunder dragon speeding down, his eyes flashing with shock. He quickly kneaded the secrets with both hands and cast spells to resist, but it was too late. The thunder dragon soared down from the sky and directly swallowed Emperor Jinwu. Thunder and lightning exploded, and the hot breath and powerful energy came over me. I retreated continuously, and I was almost affected by the thunder that I attracted. Su Tianqian restrained Yan Long for me. The battle between her and Yan Long was completely unilaterally crushed by her. When Su Tianqian faced Yan Long in Penglai Immortal Island, he had no room for resistance like me. However, she has now accepted the inheritance, and the Nuwa bloodline in her body has awakened. It shouldn't be a problem for Yan Long's soul. I stared into the darkness and saw a figure slowly walking towards me. Emperor Jinwu's clothes were damaged by the thunder, and his skin was slightly red, but this thunder did not cause any harm to him. Emperor Jinwu said to me, "Emperor, your strength is even more powerful than I imagined." I looked at Emperor Jinwu coldly. I released the dragon energy in my body, and the dragon energy condensed into golden dragons in the air. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 1549. More than a dozen huge golden dragons were hovering around me. Emperor Jinwu was not afraid at all when facing these golden dragons, and there was no expression change on his face. Facing such a powerful enemy, I naturally did not dare to neglect. With a thought, I controlled a dozen golden dragons to attack Emperor Jinwu. Emperor Jinwu stood unmoved and had no intention of taking action. I was slightly startled when I saw this scene. Just when I was confused, I saw a strange look in Emperor Jinwu's eyes. The powerful light erupted from the golden dragon swallowing Emperor Jinwu directly dispersed the black mist in the ghost realm. There is only one thought in my mind at the moment, and that is why Emperor Jinwu didn't resist, but willingly withstand my blow. At this time, there was a sudden sharp pain in my mind. I wailed in pain, covered my head and squatted on the ground. Seeing this, Su Tianqian quickly got rid of Yan Long and came to my side. "Xiao Su. What's wrong with you?" I couldn't hear any sounds, I just felt a splitting headache, and then a memory appeared in my mind. This memory is of a magnificent palace deep in my heart. The palace is surrounded by stars. It is obvious that this is not the human world, but a bit like the fairy palace in fairy tales. Emperor Jinwu knelt beside me. In my memory, I said to Emperor Jinwu, "You are the only one I can trust. If one day I really leave the throne of God, then you will be the one to monitor the movements of the gods. If you meet me one day, please remember to remind me that I must find Zhangzia's memory. Only by getting Zhangzia's memory and things like that can I make the layout possible." This is the memory of Emperor Ziwei. There are many memories sealed in my mind, and these memories are the memories of each reincarnation. This time, I actually awakened the memory of Emperor Ziwei. If the memory belonging to Emperor Ziwei is completely awakened, will I eventually become Emperor Ziwei? My memory is short, but it tells me a lot of information. Emperor Jinwu is not my enemy, he just stayed with the gods under my order. To put it simply, he is an undercover agent. This also shows that Emperor Jinwu chose not to resist when faced with my attack just now. The memory gradually fragmented and my vision was restored. Su Tianqian looked at me with worry on his face. "Xiao Su, what's wrong with you?" I shook my head at Su Tianqian and replied, "I'm fine." At this time, Emperor Jinwu stood up with injuries all over his body. Upon seeing this, Yan Long quickly came to Emperor Jinwu's side. "How can you not even defeat him? Are you letting your guard down?" Yan Long scolded Emperor Jinwu. Emperor Jinwu ignored Yan Long and just glanced at me, turned around and left. Yan Long saw Emperor Jinwu leaving and standing there, not knowing what to do. He wanted to take Su Tianqian away, but with me and Su Tianqian teaming up, he would definitely not be his opponent. After weighing it again and again, Yanlong said to me, "Lu Su, I guess you are lucky. You won't be so good next time we meet, good luck." After that, he turned away and disappeared into the darkness. The moment Emperor Jinwu and Yanlong disappeared, the ghost realm also disappeared without a trace. I breathed a long sigh of relief, looked at Su Tianqian, and said with a wry smile, "I made you worry." Su Tianqian shook his head slightly, and I glanced at the time. Even though I was stunned, I had been fighting Emperor Jinwu for at least 10 minutes, and the time had actually passed by 2 minutes. How is this going? Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 1550. I expressed my doubts. Su Tianqian replied, "The one just now should not be a ghost realm, but a divine realm." Holy area? I asked doubtfully. Su Tianqian explained, "A place with too much yin and ghost energy will form a ghost realm. This is how the underworld is formed. Of course, the same is true for gods. Whether it is the divine realm or the ghost realm, there is no concept of time." I nodded and suddenly thought of my Nine Eyes Heaven realm. I asked, "Tianqian, is my Nine Eyes Heaven realm a divine realm or a ghost realm?" Su Tianqian shook her head and said she didn't know either. "The matter is resolved. Su Tianqian and I plan to destroy." Supernatural events did occur at Zhuo Station, and the initiator of all events was the pig demon. Now that the pig demon has been killed by me, nothing strange will happen at Zhuo Station. Su Tianqian and I returned to the train and didn't see a single passenger get on the train until the train was moving. It seemed that they must have a grudge against Zhuo Station. At about 11:30 p.m., Su Tianqian and I got off the train. Hesitating that it was too late, Su Tianqian and I found a hotel to stay. Su Tianqian and I simply washed ourselves and fell asleep together. I held Su Tianqian without feeling any sleepiness. Do scattered memories appear in my mind? And these memories all belong to Emperor Ziwei. Since my memory was too fragmented, I couldn't get any useful information. Su Tianqian noticed that I wasn't sleeping. She slowly opened her eyes and asked, "Xiao Su, why aren't you sleeping yet?" I smiled and replied, "Can't sleep." Su Tianqian nestled in my arms and asked me why I couldn't sleep. I told her all my troubles. After hearing this, Su Tianqian smiled and said, "Actually, this is not a bad thing. If Emperor Ziwei awakens all his memories, your strength will make a qualitative leap." What Su Tianqian said is right. Every time the sealed memories in my mind are unlocked, my Taoism will become a little better. Tianqian, there is one thing I don't quite understand. Why Emperor Jinwu said it's not the time to kill me yet? Su Tianqian pondered for a moment and replied, "I think it should be Zhangzia's memory. Didn't Sudaji say before that only you can enter the place where that memory is? And the memory you just woke up has shown that that memory is really important. If you want it, the gods also want it." Su Tianxuan's analysis makes sense. I nodded and said, "It seems that we need to find the remaining 6 tails of Sudaji as soon as possible, so that we can enter that place and retrieve the memory. I am extremely curious about Zhangzia's memory. What exactly was recorded in that memory, and why did the gods seem to want it?" As we all know, Zhangzia is the leader of the gods, and has not been on the list of gods. With Zhangzia's strength and his deeds, he can definitely be on the list of gods, but Zhangzia voluntarily gave up on becoming a god. Obviously, at that time Zhangzia knew what the list of gods meant. It's superfluous to think about anything now. Only by finding Zhangzia's memory can all the mysteries be solved. After talking to Su Tianqian like this, the confusion in my heart was relieved. I hugged Su Tianqian and slowly fell asleep. The next morning, Su Tianqian and I got up early and headed to the village at the foot of Tishan Mountain. The village was very remote and few people knew about it. Su Tianqian and I searched for a long time at the taxi station before we found a driver who knew about the village.